one of Riley's friends' parents had a barbecue, and we went over there. They live 2 streets over, and they're dating us, right? 'Cause we're like they're the parents who was our age.
I get what you mean.
you know they're dating us here, and I show up, and this guy, big old belly, our age, covered in tattoos, just shirtless, just no shame. I'm just like, this guy's my hero. I mean, I can't do that in a pool. Like, I have to wear something.
Right.
Self-conscious. This guy just doesn't care. Let it all hang out. And I was jealous. And then he goes, "Hey, you want to help me get the food ready for the barbecue?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I go into the kitchen, and he's just fingering the chicken, just raw chicken, just fingering it. I'm just like, "What are you doing?" He's just like, "Nothing, just get in the chicken." And then he doesn't wash his hands, and he goes to the brats and just fingers the brats.
Oh.
I'm just like, oh my God, what do I do?
Hello, and thank you very much for downloading this most recent episode of Movie Guys Podcast. You can download many more episodes at movieguyspodcast.podbean.com.
We are back, baby. We are back again with our Buddies Comedy Retrospective Series. I'm excited. This was Eric's idea, and we decided that since him and I are buddies, and Eric's well, Sarah's now a bud. But anyway, we're going to do a Buddies Nostalgia movie. There's rules to this, but the first movie we're going to review today is probably one of my favorite buddy comedies, Lethal Weapon. Eric, how the hell are you doing?
It's the ultimate buddy comedy, right? Well, I wouldn't say it was a comedy at first, but it has then, through pop culture and everything, turned into that. But for someone who, the first time watching it, Sarah, did you think this was more of a comedy, comedy or an action? Excuse me.
I felt it was more of an action movie. Having seen, a fair number of 80s drug movies, it felt more like an action movie to me than a comedy, but definitely a buddy movie. By the end of the movie, they're sharing a beer and Christmas dinner. Also, if you hear some tiny sounds in the background, we have an extra special guest today. Our baby is joining us. She's 2 months old, and please excuse her tiny sounds.
The dedication. I truly thought that you were going to take like half a year off of podcasting. So 2 months later, baby's first podcast.
She is strapped to me, and yep, she is joining us today.
Right.
She watches a lot of the movies with us as well.
Yeah, so Lethal Weapon was huge for me. I started watching it when I was 14. Right, it was on USA, TNT all the time, TBS, the Superstation. The first one was on all the time. I even went out and got the box set. Yes, there was a box set, right? I was big into Lethal Weapon. Eric, were you as big into Lethal Weapon for that young teenage boy era like I was?
So
Not
my
really.
first exposure to Lethal Weapon was in that era of the TV movie, the heavily censored Melon Farmer TV movie era. And
Right.
what I mean by that is the reruns that they would have, like Die Hard and Lethal Weapon, these very classic kind of action movies that would play at the late hour of a basic cable broadcast, but they would bleep out, or not bleep, but they would just either completely censor or dub over the swear words. And
Right.
this was one of those movies. So
Yes.
you would hear something like, "Oh, go fix yourself," kind of a something something amongst those lines. And yeah, this was definitely one of those heavily edited. It's always nice though. I got to rewatch this in its natural form. I guess we'll call it that. And just to really be like, oh, this is what I missed. Not much. A few boobs.
Not much.
A lot of F words. And
There was so many boobs. Wow, it opened up with boobs, and I was very surprised.
I could see
Yeah.
why a 13-year-old
Yeah.
girl would love this movie.
I didn't see this. I mean, this was heavily censored too until I got the DVDs. And I will add a little bit of spice to your "go fix yourself" comment. Murtaugh in this movie says when he gets beat up, "Go spit." He says that. And I'm watching the edited movie on TV. It's like, oh, that's just go something else, But no, he literally says, "Go spit." I don't know,
He's a family man.
but I don't know what that means.
Oh, no,
Like,
no idea.
No,
It
what
was
does
the
that
80s.
mean?
I don't know. I'm not gonna try to interpret that slang? Go fly
Right.
a kite, maybe. Go suck an egg.
Right. Shane Black, who has directed a few movies here in the present, wrote this movie. This movie was originally really, really extremely dark, and they wrote a sequel, and the sequel was Mel Gibson getting killed at the end. So Richard Donner, who took this over, right, who's directed all 4 movies, said it was too dark of a script. They needed to change some things, but the only thing that Shane Black said that he could not change was this opening suicide scene, because it gave the movie weight. I don't see it gave it weight. It's just a coked out chick jumping out of a building. It happens every Sunday in L.A.
Yeah, I still don't understand a whole lot of it, but when Richard Donner starts talking, you listen.
Yes.
It's a legendary director.
Right. So let's go ahead and just cut into it, right? Before we get into the big plot of it. But this girl jumps off a balcony. She thinks she can fly, kind of thing, probably, because she was sniffing cocaine that was laced with like arsenic, some poison.
Yeah, some sort of killer.
And that was by accident, or was that the Vietnam drug dealers did that on purpose to cut the cocaine?
They find it later on. It was on purpose, right? This is where I had to really pay attention to this story, because before I was not paying attention to any story. It was just good guys go after bad guys. That's
Right,
flat out
right,
what
right.
that was.
Right.
So yeah, that's all what we were thinking.
Okay. But so because that's the thing, because I wanted to rewatch it again. So the Vietnam drug lords purposely got the fresh cocaine, cut it, and put this poison arsenic in it on purpose, or was it the actual
No.
dude that she was doing cocaine with?
I had thought that the overall story basically was that Murtaugh's buddy from
Right.
Vietnam
Right.
got into some stuff with some shadow ops guys doing
Right.
the heroin trade
Oh, heroin.
while they were doing that over there. And since the war had ended, his Murtaugh's buddy, had continued the trade. Fast forward to now, the future of the 80s, 87. And the mercenary group has caught wind of this, and they want to take over that action. And so I thought that they basically were trying to like threaten the connects, if you will.
Yeah.
and
Threat and
that-
bribe.
Yeah, and so
Right.
that this one girl who died like this was the daughter of the middleman.
So it was a hint. It was a hit, so they could send a message.
I think, yeah, if you want to say it was a hit, more of a kind of a mark. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this, right? So
Let's talk
let's talk about it. Sarah was here this year technically, but for our last retrospective, we told her when we did Last Action Hero, we kind of had an idea that we were going to do this, and we're like, you're going to see the tropes, right? So, Sarah, did you actually see the tropes from Last Action Hero to the actual source material?
I did not even remember that you said that. I am in a haze. I watched this movie in like 5 different sections over the course of an afternoon while nursing, nap time, etc. So I was not paying attention to that portion.
Okay.
I do remember I think I've seen some of this on TV. There were
Right.
some scenes that seemed familiar to me. But I mean, like, again, it's an 80s action movie. Like, they all have the same trope. For Last Action Hero to be playing off of that is, I don't know, it seems pretty standard.
I don't know. I think this is the 80s action
I feel like
movie.
this is the one. Actually, I feel like this movie was so played off of later on, that while rewatching this one, I feel like this
Right.
was the parody.
Yeah, right. But there's a parody, Sarah, if you ever want to watch it. National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1.
With Emilio
Stop.
Estevez?
Emilio Estevez is Mel Gibson, and one of the Waynes is Murtaugh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Mel Gibson?
Yeah, let's talk about Mel Gibson.
So I was curious because Danny Glover is supposedly turning 50 in this movie.
Yeah.
I was curious, how old was Danny Glover actually in this movie? Do you know?
Was he in his 40s?
He was 40 playing a 50-year-old, and then Mel Gibson was only 31. We're closer in age to Danny Glover than we are to Mel Gibson in this movie.
I know, right? And no, what's really sad too is it doesn't make any sense because, like, Vietnam was what, 68-ish through like 73? Like, it was around that period, right?
Yeah, so how did because Mel Gibson said that he served, right? Because he's got the tattoo.
Right, he served, and he was like one of the deadliest snipers in Vietnam. It's like, wait a minute, his age doesn't make sense.
Exactly, right.
Because he would be 50. No, yeah, he would be.
Yeah, he should be older if
Right.
he served in Vietnam, even if he was 18.
And then wouldn't Murtaugh did serve in Vietnam because he said that the girl's dad, who, yeah, he was his army buddy. So, okay, let's talk about Murtaugh and and Riggs. Let's talk about Murtaugh and Riggs. Let's talk about Murtaugh first.
I would also like to point out that Jordan knows the actual characters' names in this movie. Every other movie, he refers to them by the actors' names.
The reason why that is because this movie's great. And when I love something, I give my full attention. No.
He also pronounces everybody's names correctly.
Of course.
Yes, because I've seen it 1,000. If we watch Terminator 2, that's not Linda Hamilton. That's Sarah Connor. Okay? Anyway. But it's also 8:30 in the morning. So
it's a different kind of Jordan here.
It's a different kind of Jordan. There is no alcohol in Jordan right now. So let's talk about Murtaugh and Riggs, but I want to talk about Murtaugh first. I know LA's a kooky town. I know LA's different than our neck of the woods of Midwestern. But Murtaugh's a detective, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's his title? How? What does his wife do? That house. A detective. Come on. That house is amazing. I love that house.
It was a different time back then. It's 87, you know?
Yeah, definitely a different time. Different time where a man can't take a bath because his wife comes in.
And three children. Teenage children.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? Because, like, she puts a little towel over his bits. Just a little bit.
Did she?
Oh, yeah. She puts a little towel down to cover it. That would
I
be
did have
different.
questions about that. I didn't remember seeing that.
Right. He's taking a bubble bath in the morning. What police detective,
as a 50-year-old man,
takes a bubble bath in the morning, right? Now, I understand having little kids come into the bathtub and say, "Daddy, happy birthday," and accidentally spill the cake in the tub, and we get a laugh about it, right? No, these are grown kids. That's
so it's
weird.
a loving family moment, man. He's
It's
too
supposed
old
to be.
for this shit.
Yes, he's too old. And we're allowed to swear on this episode because he says that.
Yep.
That's
We're not
the thing.
gonna swear that one or bleep that swear out. That's just because it's
He's-
part of the quote. It's what it's. That's how I was supposed to say it. That's where we are. Here we go.
He's too old for the spit.
Hey, there we go.
There we go. So what's it? His daughter says, "I think you should shave your beard, Dad. You're getting old." Goes downstairs. He has this mustache. Now we get the Murtaugh look. Then we cut from there. We go to Mel Gibson's butt. Right?
Woo.
That was a whole lot of Mel Gibson butt. Can I say that I'm jealous of Mel Gibson, not of his butt, but I'm jealous of, I'm jealous of his living situation. The reason why I'm jealous of his living situation, he has oceanfront view in a trailer. You know how much that probably is worth
In a
in
parking lot?
California? Oh, come on. Because they bulldoze that nowadays, right? There's like luxurious apartments and stuff probably. Like, what a great view. This guy's living the bachelor life. His wife died, 6 months prior to this movie in a car accident.
Right.
Right? Now, was it my memory serving me wrong, or was it just me wrong or me right? But did we find out in this movie, the sequel, that she actually was pregnant?
That's going to be the sequel.
That was the sequel. So this movie, they do not say that. Okay. Because in the sequel, we find out that she was pregnant.
Of course.
And then, of course, the bad guy was the guy that killed his wife. So we get an old cop who's 40, who we're closer to the age of, and we get a young renegade cop who is suicidal.
Who's 35. Old 40-year-old cop and a young 35-year-old cop. He's actually
Right.
He's 50.
50-year-old
Yeah.
cop and a young 45-year-old
yeah, they're celebrating his 50th birthday.
So now, of course, the 80s being the 80s and the 2020s being the 2020s here, we're comparing apples and oranges. Mel Gibson would not be would not be a detective at this day and age, right? I mean, like, they would not allow him to be on the job.
I don't think Murtaugh would be a detective either, to be honest with you.
It's just the things that he does is crazy because what? It's Christmas time, right? So we're in a tree farm, and Riggs is trying out the cocaine, trying to be a drug dealer. This part is funny where he's like, I want to buy all of it. And he's like, how much? And he's like, okay. So he's counting ones.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, $150,000. He's like, I don't have that much. Like, I thought that was kind of fun.
It's clever to get the number said
Right,
out loud, right? Kind of a tactic, and it just shows that his tactics are a bit unusual, but and maybe off the book, we'll say.
He's not a regular cop. He's a cool cop.
But he gets it
Well-
done. He's good police.
So there's a couple of scenes I want to talk about. I don't know if you guys seen. So did you guys get the director's cut, or did you? Okay, so you seen the school shooting scene.
No.
Well, wait. The DVD said it was. Yeah, we rented it or borrowed a DVD from the library. That's how we watched this. It
Okay.
said director's cut on it, but I
So
don't
there-
remember that scene.
So there's a school shooting scene. It's either before or after the tree farm scene, where okay,
Yes.
that
There's the
scene was,
sniper who's shooting at the kids.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
he misses Mel
Yeah.
Gibson.
yeah.
that scene was cut from the actual movie that was released in theaters. So I was curious if you guys thought that you agreed that should be cut nowadays or should it not? I think it actually should be cut because it kind of takes it out, right?
Oh, I didn't see a problem with it. I think it introduces Mel Gibson initially as that renegade. You know, he's not going to play by the book, and you don't actually see any kids get shot. So
No,
I
I'm
think
not.
that's
He's a cop with nothing to lose.
No, I'm not saying that that the scene itself bothers me. It bothers me because the reason why they cut it, in my opinion, is because they're introducing the character twice. Because we get him at the tree farm, we're seeing that he's a renegade cop doing the Three Stooges, you know, and everything to the drug dealers and being crazy and wacky. And then it goes to the sniper and the kids. It's like there's no reason to have two of the same scenes essentially.
I
Um,
preferred the school shooting scene just because
Or
it was
the
a
tree
bit,
farm.
it was a bit more intense. His tree farm had a more of his character in it, but that school shooting scene, coming from the scenes before of him being tormented, I guess, in his bachelor pad with pictures of his dead wife, it let me know that, oh, this guy really is serious. It does not care if he lives or dies or not. He's just gonna do whatever he can just because, well, screw it.
Does Mel
Fix it.
Gibson, does he go too crazy as the character? I mean, like, is it so crazy that it's not believable, or do you think, as Eric, you and I've seen the sequels, or do you think this is the most toned down Riggs? That
Oh,
we're ever gonna get?
believability is nothing to do with this movie. We're out of that. That's
We're out of that.
two cops doing all this in L.A. This is so Shane Black. I don't even know how to describe. It should be its own category. He's because he's the same guy that did Last Action Hero. He also did like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. He did the other Lethal Weapons, right?
Nice Guys,
Yeah, he did Nice Guys, which is a buddy comedy movie in L.A.
right?
about a missing
Tell
girl.
tell them that you have a low compound fracture. Anyway,
That is a great movie, though, by the way.
yeah. Another question. This is an honest question. I'm glad because I've never had a chance to review Lethal Weapons, so I'm trying to get all these thoughts that I've been waiting to talk about for a long time. Does Riggs and Murtaugh get put together because really people don't like Murtaugh? Because Murtaugh's supposed to play this 50-year-old with a gray beard, and he has this fancy life. He kind of dresses fancier compared to other detectives, right? And it's just like he's talking to a buddy. Murtaugh's talking to a buddy, and he sees Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's wearing a hat, and Danny Glover profiles him and thinks he's a bad guy, and he pulls out his gun, and he's like, hey, Murtaugh, meet your new partner. It's like, why did they put these two together? That's a legitimate question. Like, was there a reason to something that I missed? Like, or is it they just don't like Murtaugh and they're like, hey, or they don't like Riggs? I don't know.
I think they don't like Riggs. That the psychiatrist was saying, you know, he's a danger and all those kinds of things. So maybe they're putting Riggs with Murtaugh because Murtaugh is sort of the level-headed, bless you, level-headed, you know, older cop. and he's supposed to help Riggs kind of get back into normalcy.
Well, then when he does that, then in the sequels, technically. Eric, do you agree with her?
Oh yeah, I would say Riggs definitely tones down the crazy as the movies progress. The situations though amp up a little bit more because then Murtaugh gets a little crazier, and he always he always seems to be the punching bag though.
He was. He would. Towards the ending of the episode here, and I don't know if Sarah's seen any of those other ones. We got to talk about some big scenes just so she can understand how crazy it gets.
And
the
then
toilet.
Chris Rock comes in.
And Joe Pesci. And a toilet. So they go to this other drugs dealer's house, and this is where we get the pool fight. That scene is always fun to me, right? Where they choke the guy out in the pool. But so now we get the drug dealers to where we have Gary Busey and his beautiful horse teeth, and he's Mr. Nobody. No, is he Mr. Nobody, or is that something that's making up? No, Mr. Joshua.
He's Mr. Joshua.
Mr. Joshua. What a great villain name.
He's obviously a bad guy because he has a first name as a last name.
Yeah, and he has the blonde hair and the big teeth, and his name's Mr. Joshua. Come on, Eric, this guy's great.
Oh, of course, he's a great general to fight.
He's a great villain to fight. They needed just him, right? We shouldn't have gotten.
Well, because you had Mitchell Ryan as the Peter McAllister. That's the guy, right? The general.
Yeah, but I don't want him in here though. I mean, like
the guy calling the shots, which was kind of, I don't know, lame. But I understand the purpose of have the big bad to boss someone like Mr. Joshua around.
Right, but I don't want that though. Mr. Joshua should have made all the decisions, or maybe the big boss was somebody they would never see because that character had no reason being it. Because the only time he served not really a purpose was when he was meeting with a drug dealer in the club with a very terrible Poison cover band or a Motley Crue cover band. He's like, Mr. Joshua, your arm, and gives a lighter, and Mr. Joshua burns himself to show loyalty.
It was a weird scene.
I'm a badass.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody likes Palpatine. Everyone likes Vader. So, kind of sums that up right there.
I guess so. I just didn't care for it. So now the two are teaming up, Riggs and Murtaugh, and they are slowly trying to uncover the death of Murtaugh's old army buddy's friend's daughter. Another thing that I want to bring up.
We got
the eggnog scene.
Yeah, the best scene of the whole movie where that guy gets shot through the window and then through the front of his body and then through the carton of eggnog.
Oh, that was towards the middle. I was going to talk about the suicide jump scene when Riggs takes the guy and jumps off the building with. But okay, yeah, I mean the eggnog scene is great. That's God, I've seen that.
There's that much to talk about there. We just wanted to bring it up.
Okay.
I got a laugh out of me.
That's the effect.
It's so ridiculous.
Instead of it being a blood, a pellet or something like that pops through the shirt to kill the guy.
Is that what makes it a comedy? Eggnog at Christmas time?
No, because this one's not a comedy, right? And if I said it was a comedy, I was
No, it's a Christmas movie.
They were. Yeah, I was waiting. I was
going by the rules
with a Christmas Carol
of the internet.
I'm going to say it is, but that's me.
Who say that everyone says that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. They have to now accept.
Yeah.
I just saw an interview with Bruce Willis, and he says Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Bruce Willis has dementia.
Before dementia. Pre-dementia Bruce Willis.
He said it. He said those things.
Okay, another controversial thing. So we talked about introducing Riggs, right? We talked about the sniper school shooting scene and the tree farm scene. Do you think the movie could have been better if we would have cut those two scenes out and have Riggs' introduction be this suicide jumping off a building helper guy? Because this was crazy too. He's like, he handcuffs him, he's like, hey, do you really want to jump? Do you really want to? And then he jumps, and I don't know. I think that this scene really, really spells out Riggs a lot.
I think the Christmas tree scene adds the element of comedy. The school scene adds the element of, LA cop movie. And then you kind of get into the movie with the suicide jumper, because now he's been paired up with Murtaugh, and we're kind of getting into the meat of the movie.
Right. And this is where Murtaugh is like, do you want to kill yourself? Do you actually want? He's like, I got a hollow point pin, whatever, bullet with, blow my head off. So yeah, all this crazy stuff is going on. What else? So then,
See their reactions sometimes. Just Danny Glover, the way he's just always yelling, just like, "What's wrong with you, Riggs?" It just maybe that's why I thought it was comedy. I've seen too many parodies of someone trying to do a Murtaugh that I'm actually seeing Murtaugh as like the Flanderized version of himself, and it's just a cartoon to me now.
but actually, here's the funny
Are you
thing.
really
So,
crazy, Riggs?
do you want to die? So I'm
They
gonna
got
kick myself. I identify with Murtaugh more in this now. When I saw this when I was 14, I was all Riggs, right? But it's like, Murtaugh plays it safe. Murtaugh's never, in my opinion, strike me as a guy who bended the rules. He always strikes me as a guy who was straight-laced. His tie was always really tight and straight. He always played by the rules.
It's by the book, man.
By the book. By the book gets you the big house. You're a renegade. You get a trailer in a parking lot by the lotion. Like it's
by the lotion.
By the what?
By the ocean. But I said
you.
ocean.
You said lotion. By the lotion.
I'm
We're
sorry.
not watching Silence of the Lambs here.
If I could confess, I'm drinking coffee at 8:20 in the morning. We don't really do podcasts this early, and also I have a customer that is emailing me already 5 times since 8:30, and I'm trying to not lose my cool during the show. So I'm thinking about that, thinking about this, and thinking about this brown water called coffee.
Excuses.
What a Saturday
Very
morning to be in here.
What a Saturday morning. Now it's cartoons.
Excuse me, sir.
So,
we're talking about Lethal Weapon. I'll get back to you in an hour.
So I want to know, we get the title of the movie from Murtaugh. Was that a grown moment where Riggs is like, oh, I do this stuff, and Murtaugh's like, oh, so all that kung fu stuff, I guess we classify you as the lethal weapon. So yeah, no, that's kind of a groaner, right?
I love when they say the title of the movie in the movie.
I mean, for this movie though,
oh yeah,
I don't care. I thought it was fun.
I thought it was kind of like an eye roller. It was just like, oh, stop it. We get a huge explosion, right? So now the two team up, find out that they have to go to Trixie's house. Trixie, and she does Dixie. I thought it was Trixie.
Dixie.
Yeah.
Dixie's getting busted, or whatever the kids.
Right.
Yell.
And so 80s, the random kid with the 3D glasses for no reason.
They were like taped to his head too.
Oh yeah. And
gotta keep him on there.
I actually, okay, so this is going to probably sound weird, but I actually kind of believe this interrogation, right? So the house blows up, big, huge explosion, right? And then Murtaugh and Riggs interrogates, if you will, these kids. And the way that Murtaugh is talking to the kids and how the kids react, I totally believe it, right? Like, I totally believe it because the kid's like, oh, like paint. He's painted. Oh, paint like a tattoo like Popeye, and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's kind of believable. And then when the kid points to Murtaugh's
Riggs' tattoo.
I'm sorry, Riggs' tattoo, Riggs was like freaked out. He was like, that is a special forces tattoo. So we're dealing with special forces. It's like, come on, this is great.
What are all these special forces and ex-military doing in LA?
Because it's LA and it's in the 80s. I mean, they're going to be in LA or New York. They're not going to be anywhere else.
Well, they had to use the front of the one guy, so if his business is in LA, I guess they're running drugs through LA. There's also a port. You can import the drugs from wherever the drugs come from.
Yeah, Vietnam, going to LA, right?
Makes
easier.
sense. Yep.
You're going to easier. And this is where we get that eggnog, right, scene going through Joshua sniping, right? and then Murtaugh's daughter gets kidnapped, and then we get they got my daughter scene. Was it also after this is where Riggs was picking up hookers,
Yes.
right?
Yes, so that he can go home and watch TV with them.
Boop. How old are you? How old do you want me to be? Oh God, like jeez, like wow, and what?
So when he says like, "What's a nice Irish girl like you doing on the streets?" and she's clearly Asian.
What's a nice Australian doing trying to play a 31-year-old LA?
I wanted to look, and I didn't get a chance. How long had Mel Gibson been acting in American movies at this point?
Well, wasn't his big?
Was he well known?
Yeah, so like his big one would be Mad Max, but that was the first one was Australian. All the Mad Max movies are Australian, right, Eric?
I
So
don't
he
think
did Mad Max in '79.
So okay, so Mad Max was an independent Australian film, and then he did the sequel, The Road Warrior, because Mad Max wasn't a hit, but The Road Warrior was a hit.
That was '81, and then he did Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome in '85, and then this was the next movie he did.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because I was just noticing, at 31 years old, his Australian accent peeks through quite a few times in this movie.
Right. Yeah, he would have been a big star because Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, he starred with Tina Turner.
Oh.
So that would have been like a big, huge, get to get him in here. We get the torture scenes of there. No, I'm sorry, not yet. Riggs is walking the streets. Bad guy shoots Riggs with a shotgun. Riggs is fine, right? Because he has a bulletproof vest on. And it was a diversion, so they think that he is dead. Murtaugh then has to go to the desert to exchange where the drugs are for his daughter.
Yeah, he has to tell Mr. Joshua what the eggnog guy told him.
Right. So we need information. We'll give you your daughter. And then Riggs is how many hundreds of yards away sniping people because he's the best shot.
that's
Of
right.
course he is.
Right. And then we get a helicopter chase scene and Murtaugh's daughter driving a limousine.
Does not get far.
Does not
No.
get far. And then we get the torture scenes of they're in a warehouse back in LA. And Riggs is hanging up. And then that Asian guy that tortures Riggs
Yeah.
is in every single 80s action movie. He was in
Last Action Hero.
He was in Last Action Heroes and Henchman. He was a henchman in Die Hard. Oh yeah. This guy works the circuit, if you will.
Yeah, he's
Right.
he's a modern day Hector.
Right. So they're going to electrocute Riggs for knowledge, whereabouts of drugs, or what did he tell you? And then Murtaugh is telling people to go spit because they're literally rubbing salt in his wounds.
Yeah.
Right. So
Murtaugh's getting hit pretty hard, but who do you think? But Riggs is getting electrocuted pretty bad too. Who do you think has it worse?
like electrocution stinks, but I would rather do that than Murtaugh because he's getting punched in the face. he's getting wrecked. He's getting punched in the face. He has cuts all over his arms. They're literally putting salt, and then he's screaming, "Go spit! Go spit!" Just, I mean, right? No, I mean, you'd rather be Murtaugh.
I don't know, man. Getting shot is one thing, but getting electrocuted like that underneath the water might be another thing. Or maybe it was just Mel Gibson's acting that didn't really sell it too much.
Mel Gibson decided to be all crazy though, right? Because he grabs when Mr. Joshua leaves and the Asian guy is by himself. He gets his feet and gets it around his neck and he chokes him out. And you hear that crunch noise,
Yeah.
That could not happen. Like a WWE move. Just no, that's not happening.
Well, again, it's a fun for thing because I'm pretty sure when you get electrocuted, you don't flail around like that. You seize.
Well, I was waiting for us to get an X-ray vision of his skeleton. Like now, that would have made it a
Oh,
comedy,
perfect.
right?
Now I'm on board.
Yeah, right. And then we get craziness on top of craziness. Then we get Riggs is so angry and so passionate and so motivated that he's going to sprint run after Mr. Joshua, who's driving down the LA highway, right?
He does a lot of running
And
in here, more than Tom
he does,
Cruise.
he does a lot of running. And we finally get to Murtaugh's house. And I've been waiting all podcast to say this because I think it's the greatest line in the movie, where what somebody hits the fire hydrant, right? So there's water going everywhere,
Mhm.
right? And all these cops are around, and we get the floodlights of the helicopter. Like, this is not real, right? There's no way all these cops are going to make a ring, if you will. And Rick says, "How about it, Joshua? You want a shot at the title?" I love it. That gets me hyped. No? It's like, yeah, yeah.
So hyped.
I was so hyped. I was so hyped. Every time he says it, "You want a shot at the title?" I was waiting for Mr. Joshua, Eric, you get this reference, to go, ding, ding.
Oh, Jordan, the way we watch movies sometimes, I feel like I'm missing out on a whole lot. There's a part where this is happening on the couch, and I'm sitting there with my feet up, mouth open, trying to stay awake, catching myself. And here's Jordan on 2 feet, just blood pressure peaked, just
Because it's
screaming
because
at the ceiling, go, yeah.
because I guess I'll sell a little bit more. I personally find it to be ridiculous. I mean, comedy, National Lampoon's ridiculous, right? That a bad guy has hit over a fire hydrant and all these cops are around. Nobody's arresting him. This guy's outmanned like 1 to 50. Like he's not surviving. He's gonna get arrested. And the cops are just like, "It's okay. Let's have a car through Murtaugh's house. Let's have fire hydrants go on, and let's have them duke it out."
Let
in
the
front
boys
yard.
fight. Let them fight.
Let them fight. They're just talking. They're just talking.
Let them cool off.
Right? Does Mr. Joshua think? Though I get hyped about this, is because it's so. I mean, if you were Mr. Joshua, do you think, "I'm going to kick his butt and possibly kill him, and nothing will happen to me"? The cops will go, "Whoopsie doopsie," and he can leave? like it's a no-win situation.
You'll never take me
For-
alive, copper.
Right. So
then
for
runs
Mel
off.
Gibson, so I'm sitting here watching the movie. Your mouth is open. I'm sitting here watching the movie, and he's like, "You want a shot of the title?" Yes. Yes, because this is so stupid. Yes,
Or
let's go.
Yeah, because it just turned into the end of Friday for some reason, which you're going to be watching.
Right. So then, they do their struggle, they do their fight. Mr. Joshua gets a couple good shots. Riggs gets a couple good shots. Rich chokes him out, doesn't kill him. Riggs is bloody and bleeding. He's cuts all over his face. He's shirtless with his man chest exposed, right? Oh, right. And then Mr. Joshua steals a gun straight from Die Hard, which Die Hard comes out later, a year later, right? And they both had to go and point the guns at the camera to kill Mr. Joshua. And then they drive off into the sunset?
And they
No,
hold hands
can't.
and
They hold hands.
yeah.
They
that
have
is what
Christmas
happens.
dinner together.
Right. I believe this friendship. You can make friends out of some weird situations, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like the trilogy, because these guys actually work well together. I think as actors.
It's called trauma bonding, Jordan. It's when you and your coworkers become best friends because your workplace is so horrendous.
Well, how did Eric and I become friends?
You're not coworkers.
Are we though?
No.
I mean,
This is not
Kind
a job, right?
No. Are you getting paid for this? Did I not know about that?
No.
Where's my check?
shoot. I gotta tell you before we get into parkour rating, the sequel. Do you know who the villains are in the sequel, Sarah?
I know absolutely nothing about the sequels. I thought there were 5 movies. Eric corrected me. There's only 4.
Right. So the second movie, the villains are white, African, diplomats. Yeah.
Oh, South African.
Yes, Southern
Okay.
African, and the bad guy.
South African, Jordan.
South-
it's a
South-
country.
Sorry, South Africa. And the bad guy always says when Riggs and Murtaugh tries to come at him, he always wings a piece of paper and he's like, "Diplomatic immunity. You can't do
Of
anything
course.
to me. Diplomatic immunity." And so there's a lot of the Like there's a subplot in the sequel about the what was that, Eric? Triad? Or not the Triad?
Yakuza?
No, I'm sorry. The apartheid. The apartheid was a subplot.
Apartheid.
Oh yes.
Apartheid. And the bad guys rig a bomb to Murtaugh's toilet. So Murtaugh sits on a toilet and he goes to wipe, and then it says bomb or boom or whatever.
Yeah, that was in Last Action Hero, right?
Right, but
Yes. Okay.
but he can't get up because when
Right.
he gets up, then it
would
explodes.
explode.
Right. So
Okay.
that was a whole big thing, and then you find out that the henchman of the villain in the sequel is the guy that was paid to put a hit on Riggs. Thought it was Riggs in the car, but it was Riggs's wife. Doop doop.
Who was pregnant?
Who was pregnant. The third movie, Riggs Finds Love. And
With who? Who is it?
what's her name?
Renee
Eric?
Russo?
Renee Russo.
Oh.
And the villain is a renegade ex-cop who buys hollow point bullets to kill cops. But the greatest thing is that he is buying land out in the country and building suburb houses. That's the plot, right, Eric? That's the plot.
Of 3?
Yeah.
Man,
And Joe Pesci's in it.
Joe Pesci's in the sequel and in the third one.
Oh.
Joe Pesci.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in 4 as well too.
Oh yeah.
Joe
the
Pesci.
gang's all here.
Joe Pesci comes in on the second one because he's a money launderer that does money laundering for the South Africans.
He was the comic relief, the wise or the smart mouth kind of. Well, we already know.
Right, and he swears a lot, and he gets mad about Subway. That's in the sequel.
Plays a very Joe Pesci character.
Yeah, he gets all mad about everything, and then he goes blonde in the third movie. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the fourth movie is 1998, and this is where we get Jet Li as the bad guy. Chris Rock is the new young cop, and Murtaugh's daughter's pregnant by a mystery man. Riggs and Renee Russo, she's now pregnant, and we're waiting for the women to give birth at the same time, and we find out the mystery father is Chris Rock, and the end of the whole movie is the women give birth to their babies, and the doctor takes a picture, and they end with "We're family," and why can't we be friends? Why can't
We are family.
Yeah, they ended up birdcage. So you
Yeah.
got to show her the sequels.
Do I?
Yeah, I'm good not watching the sequels. I have a limited amount of time in my life right now. I'd rather watch other movies. TV shows.
I think the first
many
one
other
was,
things.
was important enough just because, again, out of a lot of the movies, I would be curious. I'm sure there's a college class somewhere that shows like the most parodied movies, and I'm sure it's going to be some sort of Hitchcock movie or like North by Northwest, something that kind of like airplane scene,
Right.
or like a Psycho shower, but Lethal Weapon gets parodied a lot,
Oh, yeah.
a lot, and
But
it's defined its own its own buddy cop thing. I don't know if this was the start of it because you had other like TV cop movie or TV cop. Starsky and Hutch was like one, right? That kind of comes.
Chips.
Yeah, where there's two buds on the beat kind of doing their thing, and this is not the first maybe to do it, but it's a generational movie.
Yeah,
it
this
had
is generation.
the saxophone and the electric guitars. It had the blue jeans and the snakeskin boots. It had the hair for everybody, which is amazing.
The mustache.
Yeah, it had what movies like The Other Guys are making fun of.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
best
yeah.
parody of this, I think, to date is going to be Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and how they did this movie. Only because they include the blackface.
Right. Sarah.
Oh my
that was one of the biggest eye rolls from a wife I've ever seen in my life. And the biggest eye roll for a wife goes to Sarah.
Thank you. I will gladly accept this award.
The biggest eye roll. God, that was better than Gina's. I've already made Gina eye roll twice this morning. Yeah, no, this
If you're
this
getting
movie
eye
was
roll, it's gonna be from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I'd imagine.
right. No, I mean, just before we get into the popcorn with that, just kind of piggyback off of you, Eric. Yeah, I mean, this movie's a generational thing, right? I mean, this movie came out when I was born, so I saw it 14 years later. Like this was something that I thoroughly enjoyed. This was like the R-rated movies that were R-rated but not hardcore R-rated. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a scary horror flick. It was R-rated because there was some boobs and some swearing.
Well,
And
I
God
think
bless.
also because of the age of like the '80s, especially the late '80s. No, early '80s had a lot of it too. It was a lot of action hero gun porn. It was a lot
Right.
of X forces, ops, special operations, government kicking in the door with the big old gun, boom, 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 killing the bad guys. Bad guys can't shoot, which happens
Right.
in this movie as well too. There's a moment where Murtaugh is in the desert. In the desert. Okay, there's nothing. He's just running, and these guys all have Uzis. They have semi-automatic, automatic weapons, and they're all hitting dirt around him. Well, you telling me because the stormtroopers were told to not hit their target, that they can't hit him? It's like I don't understand that, especially because Murtaugh had this whole thing before about, oh well, when I see a bad guy, just hit him in the leg, disable him. You tell me that
Yeah.
these special ops guys couldn't do the same? Take out the foot so Murtaugh is not running away, especially because you're going to torture him later. What? You shoot him anyway.
Right. I would, and also, why would you bring a smoke grenade to a gunfight? Literally, right? I
Well,
mean,
it's part of the plan, I guess,
that was a
for
terrible,
Riggs.
terrible plan.
Yeah,
Terrible plan.
yes, it was, but it worked at the end, I guess.
If popcorn ratings, I am torn between a medium and a large because this movie is nostalgia. Um, do I give a large just because of nostalgia? You know what? Yes, because if you love action movies, like teens today, right? Teenage boy comes up and is like, "Hey, I'm looking for some old dad movies. What should I watch? Predator, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard." You know what I mean? Like, I mean, this is a part of that conversation, right? This movie has spawned a lot of parodies. Sometimes this movie and the sequels become a parody of itself. But this very first Lethal Weapon movie is, I think, an '80s classic. I don't know if people actually feel that way. I think it is. I think if you've never seen it, you should at least see this one. So therefore, I'm giving it a large. Eric, what is your popcorn rating for Lethal Weapon?
I, mm, I enjoy it, and I would vouch that it's generational, especially because in cinema you have these eras where in the '80s a lot of the movie covers were the main star doing the side profile or like the quarter turn profile, looking into the camera, title in the bottom, and then maybe some sort of effect in the back. But that's basically a
Sure.
lot of your '80s. Uh, '70s was usually them in an action pose and drawn. Not often was it a picture; it was kind of drawn. But in the '90s, a lot of it was elemental. A lot of it was the scene. Like Twister, you get to see kind of two people running away from the Twister, or Independence Day. You know what that movie cover is like, and so a lot of the movies in
Right.
the '90s were of a landscape or of scene of the movie or kind of the situation. This movie defines the '80s generation because it's got the two people in the buddy, which we're doing a whole retrospective on, the buddies comedies of them both doing the quarter turn, looking into the camera like buddies do, the gun up, and ready for action. I think in the same part of Evil Dead, this movie started off on a serious note, but then started to get more and more parody as the franchise continues, just
Sure.
because they know that this is fun. What are two cops doing dealing with such an international drug trade? I and like you're telling me that no one else caught on to this thing's been going on for years, and that Murtaugh, the one guy, just happened to stumble upon it because his buddy was just feeling down one day. He's just like, "Oh yeah, they killed my daughter. Why'd you go kill him? Oh yeah, by the way, I've been doing this for years, for 20 years.
20
You
years.
want some eggnog?" It's just like that's what it was. That's what gave it away. Um, but everything's so far fetched in the movie that it's just kind of silly and fun. I don't know.
Right.
I want to say large just because of the weight that it holds culturally. It's not a good movie on paper. Uh, I don't want to ruin your parade there, but I actually written by the same writer, Shane Black, did The Nice Guys. I would say that's a way better written movie.
We may be reviewing that for this series.
Yeah, I would say that's a far better written movie. The dynamic between the two are fantastic. The way that it captures the time of what was it, the 70s in that one, or is that 60s?
Right. 70s.
I thought that was really great too. This just seems very much more kind of cartoony of the 80s. So
Okay.
I
What are you
don't-
gonna give it?
I
do?
guess I have to give it a large just because again
Yes, you do.
of how often I've seen this
Yes.
uh, in other inspired works.
Okay. I give it a large. Eric gives a large. Sarah, 2 questions. First question is a short one. Between Eric and I, who is Murtaugh? Who is Riggs?
Good question. Ooh.
I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
I feel like if this was 10 years ago,
Yeah.
I might. I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't.
it's obvious.
I
It's
don't
obvious.
think this is obvious at all.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eric's
no, you're right.
clearly.
Eric's
Er-
Murtaugh.
Yeah, Eric's. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
Eric is more
I'm
refined.
too old for this shit.
Eric's more down to
He says that a
earth,
lot.
right? He's like a year or two older than me, right? You know, but
He really draws from his inner black man.
correct. He has a 2-story house.
What the hell, Jordan? Are you really that crazy? Are
Right.
you really
Look
that
at me.
crazy, Jordan?
Look at me. How many times do I call Eric about freaking out?
You gotta calm it down. You gotta calm it down, Jordan.
Yeah.
Right.
Eric's the voice of reason.
Right. Come on, it was obvious. So
Baths,
Sarah,
obviously.
what is your popcorn rating for Lethal Weapon?
I'm gonna give it a solid medium. I don't have the nostalgia, bump. I think that you guys can give it because this was my first time seeing it all the way through. It's a solid 80s cop movie. There's drugs. It's in LA. Black guy, white guy. Kind of silly.
Whoa.
I don't have a lot to say about it. Like it's a solid movie, but it's not one that I'm gonna sit down and be like, oh man, Lethal Weapon's on. I'm gonna watch that again.
Would you try watching the sequel just to see if you want to continue?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
Maybe in like 10 years when I have time again.
Yeah.
But not right now.
Fair enough.
If
Fair
I'm
enough.
flipping through the channels and I see this on, let's say the movie started, 15, 20 minutes in, it's probably going to stay on.
Right.
Like, just,
Yeah, I might watch it in the background, but I'm not gonna sit down and watch it. Just be like,
Oh.
man, I really want to watch Lethal Weapon right now.
of course.
Right.
But if any
Yeah.
of the sequels are on, I'm probably going to pass those.
Yeah, I mean, like they jumped the shark very quick with the sequel. The sequel opens with the Looney Tunes theme song. Seriously, it does.
We were just watching Looney Tunes this morning.
Yeah, during a car chase, it opens with that. So
Okay.
quickly, the director is showing us that it's Looney Tunes era. Well, this is episode 1 of our nostalgia series, right? This is our buddy series. These go by quick. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to that. This is like our 4th time doing this, right? And we sit here, we plan it out, we pick the movies that we want to pick, and then we do it once a month, and it goes quick. So I'm excited to see what the rest of the series is going to bring, and I always want to announce them, but Sarah says don't. So
Are we doing any more Shane Black? He does.
yeah,
seem
Nice
to-
Guys.
It's just Nice Guys.
yeah, that's the only one we picked. There was a bunch. Remember,
Honestly,
we
because
had
we
a
did
huge list.
that, we did Last Action Hero. So this would be our third. That would be our third Shane Black movie.
Shane Black has the golden microphone.
Yeah, it certainly does. I guess.
Yes, we give a golden microphone out to people that we review 3 times.
Ooh.
It's very hard to give them a microphone that's golden when we don't know their address.
Shane Black, I know you're listening. Just go ahead and @ us on Instagram. Jordan's gonna do all the socials.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening to this most recent episode of Movie Guys Podcast. Check us out at Movie Guys Podcast at podbean.com or download this episode wherever you get your podcast from. But we'll be back next Thursday for another awesome episode. Erica, Sarah, thank you so much for joining me. Have a good night. Huh?
Yes, thank you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi.
Hi.
Don't get loud with me again.
Don't act like you can't hear me.
You want to know how to make $40 in 15 minutes by doing nothing?
How's that?
So the people that live next door to me fired their lawnscaper, if you will.
Uh-huh.
And for about 3 weeks now, the grass
You could
is...
say that they cut him, huh? Go ahead.
I apologize. So the grass for the past 3 weeks has gotten about knee high. My height, and I'm 6'1", so everybody's listening can kind of figure that out. And everybody around the general area has complained to them and said that if you don't get this done by like Monday, we're calling the village. It's going to cost you like $150
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, this is ridiculous. So they're moving out because they don't feel like anybody likes them.
Sure.
True story. And yesterday, my wife was talking to them, and one of them said to my wife, I need somebody to mow this lawn. And Gina says, my husband will do it. And I look at Gina like, what? And then I look at the homeowner and I said, well, and then the homeowner said, I just need the front done, which is as big as my yard. And I said, all right. She goes, I'll pay you $40.
All right then.
I didn't even say no. I didn't say what. I just perked up like a squirrel, like whoop,
Mm-hmm.
and just got my tractor, mowed it twice because it was so thick. So afterwards, that's what she said. I go inside the house and I said, hey, honey, did we get our money? Because she was talking to him. And she goes, yes. It was a check for $40, and they didn't know how to spell my name, so they just wrote my name in it. I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna cash this tomorrow. See what happens if this is.
Watch that bounce.
Mm-hmm.